Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Old Coins Value. In today's video, we reveal the hidden value and fascinating history behind three of the rarest and most collectible half-dollar coins in American history. These coins are often overlooked by the general public, but highly prized by collectors.
A coin that holds not only monetary but also historical value. This episode is dedicated to coin lovers, collectors, and enthusiasts who are eager to understand the root significance and detailed story behind the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar coin. The 1976 half-dollar coin is one of the most iconic commemorative coins in American numismatic history, issued to mark the Bicentennial of the United States of America. It stands out not only for its design, but also for the occasion. It honors this coin was part of a special release by the United States Mint in honor of the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which took place in 1776. The U.S. Mint made special designs for the $quarter-dollar, half-dollar, and $1 coins, specifically for the Bicentennial celebration. These coins were struck in both clad and silver versions and are known for their dual date, 1776 to 1976, which sets them apart from other regular issue coins. The design of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was modified from the original design by Frank Gasparro, which featured a profile of President John F. Kennedy. The Bicentennial reverse design was created by Seth G. Huntington and depicts Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The reverse also includes the dual date 1776 to 1976, along with the words United States of America, half-dollar, and E pluribus unum. This was the first and only time that the Kennedy half-dollar featured this special reverse design, and it was used only for coins dated 1776 to 1976 before returning to the regular presidential seal design in 1977. Now let us understand how the idea of commemorating the Bicentennial with a special coin program came about. The journey of this coin begins in the early 1970s, when the U.S. government began to plan for the celebration of the country's 200th birthday. The American Revolution Bicentennial Administration, or RBA, worked with the U.S. Mint and Congress to produce special commemorative coinage to reflect the historic importance of the event. Public excitement and demand for a unique coinage experience led to the authorization of a circulating commemorative coin program rather than a limited edition collectible, which had been the trend in the past. Congress passed legislation authorizing the redesign of the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar to be issued in the years leading up to and during 1976. This made the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar not just a piece of currency, but a work of symbolic patriotism and national pride. Production of the 1976 half-dollar began in 1975 and continued through 1976. Interestingly, all coins bearing the Bicentennial design carry the dual date of 1776 to 1976, regardless of the year in which they were minted. This was a deliberate move to reflect the commemorative nature of the release. There are two major varieties of the 1976 half-dollar. One is the copper-nickel clad version, which was intended for general circulation, and the other is the 40% silver version, which was produced primarily for collectors and sold in special mint and proof sets. The clad version was produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, while the 40% silver coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint in both uncirculated and proof versions. Let us go deeper into the mintage figures and production details. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 234 million of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollars with no mint mark, while the Denver Mint struck over 287 million coins. Bearing the D mint mark, San Francisco struck around 11 million uncirculated silver coins and over 4 million silver proof coins, which makes the silver versions comparatively rare and more desirable among collectors. Many people wonder whether the 1976 half-dollar has any special value today, and the answer depends on several factors, including condition, mint mark composition, and whether it is a proof or uncirculated version. Circulated copper-nickel examples are very common and are usually worth face value or slightly more. But uncirculated and proof examples, especially those in high grade or with special finishes, can be worth several dollars or more. Silver examples are worth even more due to their precious metal content and limited mintage. When considering value, it is also important to look at grading and preservation coins that are certified by third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC, and have high grades such as MS67 or PR69 can fetch significant premiums, especially if they exhibit strong luster-clean surfaces and minimal contact marks. Deep cameo-proof coins with mirrored fields and frosted devices are especially popular with collectors and investors. Another interesting aspect of the 1976 half dollar is the cultural and historical symbolism embedded in its design. Independence Hall is not only a key American landmark, but also the very place where the Founding Fathers debated and signed the Declaration of Independence. Its inclusion on the reverse of the coin reinforces the historical roots of American freedom and democracy, while the obverse maintains the memory of John F. Kennedy, President who embodied a spirit of renewal and progress during his time in office. The coin thus serves as a bridge between two eras, the founding of the nation and the modern era of American leadership. The dual date is a subtle yet powerful reminder of continuity, heritage, and national pride. It is a coin that tells a story not only through its metal and design, but through the era that produced it. The mid-1970s were a time of both reflection and hope, as Americans looked back on 2 centuries of growth and looked forward to the challenges of the future. From a collector's point of view, the 1976 Kennedy half dollar holds a special place in every bicentennial set. It is often collected alongside the Washington Bicentennial quarter and the Eisenhower Bicentennial dollar, completing what many consider to be one of the most historically meaningful coin sets issued by the United States Mint in the 20th century. These coins are frequently found in original government packaging, which can add to their value, especially if well preserved. There are also error coins and varieties that can be valuable, including off-center strikes, doubled dies, and coins struck on wrong planchets. Although these are rare when they do appear, they are highly sought after by specialists and often sell for significant premiums at auctions or through private sales. Collectors should always be vigilant and knowledgeable about these varieties, as they can turn an ordinary-looking coin into a rare and valuable treasure. In summary, the 1976 Kennedy half dollar is more than just a commemorative coin. It is a symbol of national identity, a piece of American artistry, a collector's favorite, and a historical document in metal. It captures a pivotal moment in the nation's timeline, the 200th birthday of the United States, and celebrates it with dignity, beauty, and lasting value for collectors, investors, and historians alike. It is a coin worth knowing and a coin worth preserving. As we continue this deep dive, we will now explore how these coins are evaluated, graded, bought, and sold in today's coin market. We will also take a closer look at auction records, notable collections, and interviews with numismatists who have dedicated their lives to the study of commemorative coinage. Stay with me as we explore even more details about the incredible story of the 1976 half-dollar coin. Let us now shift our focus to how the Kennedy half dollar evolved before and after 1976. The first Kennedy half dollar was minted in 1964 following the assassination of President Kennedy in 1963, designed by Gilroy Roberts and Frank Gasparo. It quickly became a cherished national symbol in 1964. The coin was struck in 90% silver, but in subsequent years silver content was reduced and eventually removed from general circulation coins. The 1976 silver version marked one of the last times a Kennedy half dollar was produced with significant silver content intended for public sale, though not for wide circulation. From 1971 to present, the Kennedy half dollar has undergone many changes in finish, mintage, and popularity, but none match the national scale and celebratory aura of the 1976 issue. This coin remains a highlight in U.S. coinage history and continues to attract new generations of collectors around the world. Stay tuned as we uncover even more about the legacy, design changes, cultural significance, and current market trends surrounding the 1976 half-dollar coin. In the second half of this special episode, we will cover grading tips, packaging history, investment strategies, and real interviews from top collectors and appraisers across the coin collecting community.
Collectors and historians alike, today we take a deep dive into one of the most iconic coins in United States history, the 1974 half-dollar coin, a coin that many people recognize but few truly understand in its historical context, numismatic value, and the secrets that lie. Understand in its historical context, numismatic value, and the secrets that lie behind its metal surface. From the origins of the Kennedy half-dollar to the minting process, design variations, and collector demand, we will uncover everything you need to know about this remarkable coin if you love history, coins, and learning the untold stories behind everyday objects. Then sit back, relax, and enjoy as we journey through the complete and professional story of the 1974 half-dollar coin. To understand the 1974 half-dollar, we must begin with the origins of the Kennedy half-dollar itself. The Kennedy half-dollar was first minted in 1964. Shortly after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963, the nation was in mourning, and there was a strong desire from both the public and government officials to honor the late president in a lasting and meaningful way. The idea to place President Kennedy's image on the half-dollar came about very quickly, with both Jacqueline Kennedy and then Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy giving their approval. The United States Mint moved rapidly to create a new design that would replace the Franklin half-dollar, which had been in circulation since 1948. The design was created by Chief Engraver Gilroy Roberts for the obverse, and Frank Gasparo for the reverse. Roberts chose a portrait of Kennedy based on a bust he had sculpted previously, while Gasparo used the presidential seal as the basis for the reverse design. The first Kennedy half-dollar was struck in 1964 using 90% silver and 10% copper, reflecting the precious metal standards of earlier U.S. coins. However, due to rising silver prices and the increasing hoarding of coins by collectors and the general public, the U.S. government decided to change the composition of coins starting in 1965. From 1965 to 1970, the Kennedy half-dollar was made of a clad composition containing 40% silver and 60% copper, but in 1971 silver was completely removed from the coin. The Kennedy half-dollar then became a copper-nickel clad coin with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to an inner core of pure copper. This change was meant to reduce production costs and discourage hoarding. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar follows this post-1971 clad composition and does not contain any silver, making it primarily a collector's coin rather than one valued for its metal content. The 1974 half-dollar was minted at three major facilities: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were released for general circulation, while the San Francisco Mint focused on producing proof coins for collectors. Proof coins are struck with specially polished dies and plankets to give them a mirror-like finish, and high-detail proof versions of the 1974 half-dollar are highly sought after by collectors for their beauty and craftsmanship. Each mint mark tells a different story. The P mint mark indicates the Philadelphia Mint. Although Philadelphia did not use a visible mint mark on the coin in that year, the D mint mark stands for the Denver Mint and can be found just below Kennedy's neck on the coin. The S mint mark represents the San Francisco Mint, and these coins are almost always found in proof sets and collector packs. The total mintage for the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar was significant, with over 201 million coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint, over 79 million coins from the Denver Mint, and over 2.6 million proof coins from the San Francisco Mint. While the sheer volume of coins produced makes the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar a common coin in circulation, the condition, rarity, errors, and mint mark can significantly affect its value in the eyes of collectors. Now we move to the design details. The obverse of the 1974 half-dollar features the left-facing portrait of President Kennedy designed by Gilroy Roberts around the edge of the coin. are the words liberty and in God we trust, along with the date 1974. The reverse features the heraldic eagle design adapted from the presidential seal. By Frank Gasparo, the eagle holds a bundle of arrows in its left talon and an olive branch in its right talon, symbolizing the power of war and peace. Above the eagle is a ring of stars representing the original 13 colonies and the inscription United States of America and half-dollar wraps around the top and bottom of the coin. Collectors pay close attention to the strike, quality, luster, and detail of these coins, especially when looking for high-grade uncirculated examples, coins that are graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can carry premium values depending on their eye appeal and scarcity. There are also notable varieties and errors found in the 1974 half-dollar series, including double die-up versus weak strikes and off-center coins. These errors occur during the minting process and are highly prized by collectors due to their rarity and uniqueness. The 1974 half-dollar also carries significance in historical and economic terms. This was a period when the United States was facing inflation, an energy crisis, and political unrest, leading to shifts in public confidence in currency and government. The Kennedy half-dollar was still heavily collected and often hoarded by Americans who admired Kennedy or viewed the coin as a keepsake rather than a tool of commerce. By the mid-1970s, the coin had largely disappeared from daily use and was rarely seen in circulation. Instead, it became a popular item in coin albums, proof sets, and as gifts for special occasions. For those interested in investing in coins, the 1974 half-dollar offers limited value in circulated condition due to its high mintage and lack of silver content. However, certain factors can boost the value significantly, such as an MS67 graded coin from the Denver Mint or a deep cameo proof from San Francisco in flawless condition. As of today, only a small number of 1974 half-dollars have achieved these top grades, making them desirable additions to any serious coin collection. We must also look at how the public and media responded to the continued use of Kennedy's image on the half-dollar over the decades. Many Americans continue to associate the coin with a pivotal moment in U.S. history and the memory of a beloved president who symbolized hope and progress. The Kennedy half-dollar has transcended its role as currency and entered the realm of cultural artifact, representing not only the man but the ideals he stood for. In addition to the U.S. collectors market, the Kennedy half-dollar has gained interest globally, with numismatists and coin dealers in Europe, Asia, and Latin America often including the coin in world coin sets. The coin is also used in jewelry, military challenge coins, and educational materials, making its impact even more widespread than many may realize. As we move further into the 21st century, the future of the Kennedy half-dollar remains uncertain, though the U.S. Mint continues to produce the coin for collectors. It is no longer released into general circulation. This has made modern issues harder to find and less purchased directly from the mint or through secondary markets. Some collectors speculate that the series may eventually come to an end, and if so, coins from earlier dates like the 1974 issue will become even more historically important. In summary, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar stands as more than just a piece of metal. It is a window into American history, a reflection of national sentiment, a product of changing economic times, and a tribute to one of the most influential presidents in modern memory. From its design and composition to its mintage and collector appeal, the 1974 half-dollar continues to capture the interest of numismatists across generations and around the world. 71 half-dollar begins with a backdrop of American history that saw national mourning, political change, and a renewed appreciation for commemorative coinage. As many of you may know, the half-dollar coin issued in 1971 bears the image of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, who was tragically assassinated in November of 1963. His death shocked the nation and Just months later, in early 1964, the United States Mint responded by introducing a new half-dollar coin to honor the late president, the Kennedy half-dollar, replacing the Franklin half-dollar design that had been in circulation since 1948. The initial Kennedy half-dollars minted in 1964 were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, a composition that matched many circulating coins of the era. However, due to rising silver prices and the growing habit of hoarding coins for their metal value, the U.S. Mint reduced the silver content of these coins starting in 1965 with a new composition of 40% silver and 60% copper. This continued until 1970, when the last 40% silver Kennedy half-dollars were issued for collectors only. By 1971, the Kennedy half-dollar underwent another important transition. It was now minted using a copper-nickel-clad composition similar to that of dimes and quarters. This change was part of a broader move by the U.S. Mint to eliminate silver from circulating coinage and preserve precious metals for industrial use and national reserves. The 1971 half-dollar was the first of its kind to be minted for circulation without any silver content, made instead with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to an inner core of pure copper. This resulted in a coin that maintained the same weight and size as previous half-dollars, but was more cost-effective to produce and circulate. From a historical perspective, this shift marked the final chapter of silver in everyday coinage for the average American. The design of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar remained unchanged from its predecessors. On the obverse side, the coin features a left-facing bust of President John F. Kennedy designed by Gilroy Roberts, whose initials appear near the truncation of the neck. This portrait was based on a presidential medal and quickly gained acceptance from the public as a fitting tribute to a fallen leader. On the reverse, the coin displays a heraldic eagle with a shield clutching an olive branch in its right talon and a bundle of arrows in its left, with a field of 13 stars above its head and a circle of 50 stars around the entire design. This reverse was created by Frank Gasparo, who would later become chief engraver of the United States Mint. The eagle design closely resembles the presidential seal, adding to the symbolism and patriotic theme of the coin. In terms of minting, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from Denver are marked with a small D on the obverse just below Kennedy's neck. In total, more than 350 million half-dollars were struck in 1971, the bulk of which came from Denver. These coins were widely distributed, but despite their large mintage, they quickly became scarce in everyday circulation due to public fascination, hoarding, and a general decline in the use of the half-dollar denomination in commerce. Many Americans held on to the 1971 half-dollar as a keepsake, not only because it bore the image of Kennedy, but also because it marked a significant turning point in American coinage away from precious metal and into modern manufacturing. This coin also coincided with broader changes in American society, including the end of the silver certificate dollar, the decoupling of U.S. currency from gold and silver under the Nixon administration, and increasing inflation that changed how Americans thought about money, collecting and saving in numismatic circles. The 1971 half-dollar holds unique interest because although it is relatively common in circulated grades, it can be difficult to find high-quality uncirculated specimens, especially those with strong strikes and full details. Many examples suffer from weak strikes or heavy contact marks due to mass production and the nature of clad metal, which is softer and more prone to wear over time, while circulated examples carry little numismatic premium. High-grade mint state versions, especially those graded MS65 and above by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch respectable prices among collectors. The same applies to proof versions of the coin, which were struck at the San Francisco Mint and sold to collectors in special Proof sets. The 1971 proof Kennedy half-dollar is distinguishable by its mirror-like fields and frosted devices and is popular with those who build typesets or full Kennedy half-dollar collections. In addition, there are a few known errors and varieties associated with the 1971 half-dollar that have captured the attention of specialists. One of the most famous is the 1971D struck on a silver planchet, a rare error that occurred when a leftover 40% silver blank was accidentally used during production at the Denver Mint. This mistake has resulted in a few known examples, which are extremely valuable and highly sought after, with prices reaching into the thousands of dollars depending on condition. Authentication of such coins requires precise weight measurement and metallurgical testing, as well as confirmation from reputable grading services. Another rare variety involves double die obverses and reverse examples, although these are subtle and not as well known as double dies from earlier decades. They are pursued by variety hunters who study minute differences in design caused by die misalignments during production. Collectors and dealers also study the differences in strike quality between the Philadelphia and Denver versions of the coin, with some favoring Denver coins for their sharper detail. Though this can vary year to year, the Kennedy half-dollar series as a whole has become one of the most actively collected U.S. coin series since its inception. Due to its historical ties to a beloved president, its varied composition, and its wide array of mint marks, proofs, errors, and special issues over the decades, the 1971 issue in particular marks the beginning of the modern era for this series and is essential to any complete Kennedy half-dollar collection. In the broader context of U.S. coinage, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar represents a critical turning point in the monetary history of the United States. It symbolizes the transition from coinage made with intrinsic metal value to one that is purely fiat-based. It reflects the evolving philosophy of the United States Mint in terms of cost efficiency, metal sourcing, and public policy. It also demonstrates how national tragedies such as the assassination of a president can lead to enduring cultural symbols expressed through coin design and piece of metal. It is a small but powerful monument to the memory of John F. Kennedy, to the changing economic realities of the 20th century, and to the legacy of American innovation and adaptability in the face of change. Whether you are holding a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar in your hand because you found it in pocket change, inherited it from a relative, or purchased it from a dealer, you are holding a tangible link to American history, a symbol of honor and remembrance and a cornerstone of American history, a symbol of honor and remembrance and a cornerstone of modern numismatics. Thank you for joining me on this in-depth journey into the story and value of the 1971 half-dollar coin. As always, I invite you to subscribe for more content about the fascinating world of old coins, rare finds, and numismatic treasures that continue to tell stories worth remembering.